name's Pam Nelson, and this is Weekly Warm-Up. I thought in the new year I would create a new video each week, which I've called Weekly Warm-Up. This morning I thought we would start with the feet, our foundation. I believe that a lot of us have lack mobility in our feet, and with that can create some issues in our knees, hips, and back. It is the foundation of all our standing poses in yoga, and with that we do need variability. It's not just, jump the feet, turn, and the foot stays the same. The foot's moving. It needs that variability, strength, and mobility. So this morning I just have a few exercises that we will do for our feet, and hopefully you'll feel a difference in the legs, maybe the hips and back. So I have placed 2 blankets on my mat. I've taken them and just folded, a blanket in half. I do have the folded edge of the blanket facing in towards each other for right now. You might be using some towels, and you might find the fold too high for your feet, and you might need to, just use, say, a little bit thinner blanket to start. It might also be good for you to be near a wall or have a chair, depending on your balance, and just do what you can. So I'm starting in mountain pose between the blankets. In this Iyengar, in his book, the Yoga for Sports, he talks about the big toes a lot being important, and that we need intelligence in the big toes for our movements. It says the big toe is really what creates our direction in our movements, especially the outer edge of our big toe. So just in your mountain pose, looking down, just see if you can bring the inner and outer edge of your toes parallel to each other. And for a lot of us, we might find we can do maybe the big toe, but as we go to the pinky toes, you might notice your pinky toes kind of start to turn in. So even if you're able to take your hands and try to, just adjust the toes, really begin to notice if the inner and outer edge of your toes are actually parallel to each other. And that's what we'll be working on, and of course it could be a lifelong process. So from here, from our mountain pose, just feel that length to the toes as they move away from the toe mounds. So this is, the toe mounds here. And we're going to be working with the heel, and this whole broad part of the heel. You may start to analyze how you walk and notice that some people really walk on this inner edge and you've moved the padding of your heel inside, or maybe you walk more on the outer edge and you've moved the padding more out. We want to really begin to center that padding as we walk, so that we're centered when we roll from the heel to the toe, being able to push off that big toe, giving direction. So I thought we would start with this blanket here, bringing the heels up onto the blanket. You might need, again, the wall for your hand. Really feeling the center heel, so that back of the heel going down, and the inner outer heel descending down, and with the blanket, so now just lift one foot, bring the padding down, spread the toes, the same on the other side. Come up on the toe mounds and just drop the heels down. Okay, we have a blanket there, so it should be softer, and then drop the heels, just get a little bit of movement. Feeling that heel bone. And then we will lift the toes up, so you might need the wall, or just lift one foot at a time. Let's get some movement in the ankles. And the arches of our feet can become weak also, so we want to strengthen the arches of the feet. So then from here, now we're going to bring the toe mounds up onto the blanket that's in front. Really try to press your big toe mound down, and spread the pinky toe mound as far away from the big toe mound as you can. So if this is the big toe mound, we don't want the pinky toe mound scrunching in. We want to, there's an arch here, so we want to open this up and strengthen that area. So when we bring the foot up onto the blanket, press into the big toe mound and try to stretch the pinky toe mound away. The same on the other foot. You might notice one foot might be a little different than the other. And then just stand here, center back on the heels. Watch again where you feel the weight in your heels. Can you be right in that center of your heel? Okay. Pressing down through the heels, big and little toe mound. We're just going to bend the knees. As you bend the knees, start to notice when you get to the point that you will feel that the heels want to lift up. And that kind of gives us an indication of our ankle mobility. So if you come down, see if you can keep the heels pressing down for as long as you can. Then you might reach that point, again, when the heels feel like they want to lift up. You can have a chair or wall nearby, give you some balance support. See if you can come back up and try that again. Sometimes repeating, you might find the next time you can go down a little bit lower. And come back up. And one more time. Notice how you might begin to bring the knees in towards each other. And that's not wrong because the foot will pronate a little bit, but just not letting the knees just completely, fall in. And I have some restraint of the hamstring or the quadricep, the hamstring. And then we'll come back up and we'll stretch the feet and then come back to that mountain pose and just see how that feels. For your feet, for your ankles, even for the knees, hips, and back. We'll just do one more exercise this morning, just to not make the videos too long, but I have many more ideas that we can work on over the next few weeks. But the next exercise will be, we'll bring one heel up onto the blanket and the toe mound up on the other side. Okay, just feel that. And now I want you to keep the toe mounds and the blanket on the front, heel at the back, and just lift front heel, big toes. Kind of works our brain a little bit also. And then go the opposite way. Toes and heel at the back. And then we'll switch that up. And change. Good. So now from here, I've got the front foot here on the blanket, back heel, and now I'm going to kind of roll through this toe mound and step, bringing the heel up onto the blanket, toe mounds on the floor, and roll. Kind of feel how you roll from the back of the toe mound to the front, and then we'll come back. So as you come back, notice how you roll on that heel. So we want to get that full movement of our foot as we roll. And then coming back, see if you can step. And here again, you might want a wall or chair. Step to the back edge of the blanket that's behind you to come back. Okay. And then we'll roll here forward. So we roll forward. Feel like you're almost being moved from the sacrum. Often when we walk, especially if we're in a hurry, we're leading more with our neck, shoulders, and then we may feel some strain. So see if you can feel that you're being pushed almost from the sacrum to come forward. And then we'll go back, coming forward, roll off the toes, roll through to the heel. And then we'll switch sides. So bringing the opposite foot in front. So roll, coming forward, bringing the heel up on the blanket, toe mounds to the floor. Coming back, just go back and forth a few times, rolling on that heel, really spreading the toes. And even just try keeping the back heel down for as long as you can as we step this front foot forward and move more the hip forward before you extend. So that the hip comes forward and then extending, straightening the front leg And then we'll go back. See if we can step the toe mounds up on the blanket, the heel back. And we'll roll a few times on that back toe mound from the back of the toe mound to the front. Because another thing that can tend to happen is that people often use their toes and really grip at their toes, as opposed to, more the toe mound rolling and then press off that big toe, right? Because we talked about that intelligence in the big toe sets our direction, push off the big toe. And then we'll come back to mountain pose. Looking down at the feet, maybe we can get those toes aligning more parallel easily. We'll straighten the legs, really lift the inner outer kneecap up as we come into mountain pose, keeping the legs long and straight. Roll the shoulders back. Thank you.